Hello and welcome to 7th Circle Gaming. In today's video we're going to analyze Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. We'll get to the video clips and the rest of the video in just a moment. We do have a bit of full disclosure to get through first. You're welcome to pause the video and read through all of this if you like, but if reading isn't exactly your thing, just let the video run. In this video clip that comes from the game's prologue that we're going to share with you, we want you to notice a couple of things. First of all, the in-game world is very much set within an existing science fantasy franchise. Those of you that are already very familiar with this particular franchise will recognize a lot of things. Moving on, we'd also like to draw your attention to the user interface, which is only visible when the player is in combat. At the top left-hand corner of the screen, we have a shield indicator as well as a health indicator. At the bottom center of the screen, we have the ammunition indicator and a couple of other indicators. At the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, we have a health kit indicator. Not much more to say about that, so we'll just let you enjoy the rest of this clip. And moving on from video clips, let's jump into our first proper chapter, which is Immersion as it always is. Here, the game has earned a score of 7 out of 15. Average, but just a little bit short of absolutely average. The game seems to be relying on 3 pillars to create immersion. First is presentation. The game world is very much set in an existing science fantasy franchise. Second is the in-game audio, which just serves to reinforce the game existing in that science fantasy franchise. Third is the third-person action combat. The game does grant players a degree of agency, however that is somewhat limited to the co-op and multiplayer content. Let's now move on to a brief discussion of how Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 addresses difficulty. The game here has earned a very low score of 2 out of 15. While the default key commands are reasonable, we did notice that the effects of the difficulty settings are not completely described. During our evaluation sessions, we also uncovered some quests that really seem to be balanced toward co-op play, as a player experiencing the game solo would have some difficulty in completing those quests. That's all for difficulty, so let's now dive into Lasting Appeal, where the game has earned a score of 5 out of 15, which is below average. There are multiple ways to engage with the software, however, not all of them are single-player friendly. The game has only one save file, which some players may find limiting. On the plus side, the game also seems to be generous with the save points, allowing players to put the game down and come back to it later very easily. That's all the chapters out of the way, so let's come to some conclusions. Where does Space Marine 2 stand overall? Overall, the game has earned a fairly low score of 4.66 out of 15. It's worth noting at this point that the game does require installation on an SSD, or solid-state drive. That's about all the objectivity we can muster for this video, so we hope you have your salt handy as we get a bit subjective. The game's story is very safe, avoiding the problematic topic of Slaanesh. The game also avoids one of the most popular lines from the first game. Though it might change in the future, we also noticed that the customization is missing a lot of chapters. As fun as the third-person action combat is, it's unlikely to encourage new fans to get interested in the franchise. But it could prove useful to introduce people to the Warhammer 40,000 franchise. We made note of it above, but we'll repeat it here. If we were to give a subjective score, we would rate the game around an 8 to an 8.5 out of 15. And that's all for this video from 7th Circle Gaming. Now, we do have a couple of analyses all planned, but we're always looking for suggestions, so if there's a game that you'd like to see, post it in the comments section. You're also welcome to use the comments section to post any agreements or disagreements. If you liked the video, well, you know what to do, and until the next video from 7th Circle Gaming, goodbye.